Good morning. I am Dr. Tammy Clark. I'm the Dean of Clinics here at Palmer West, and I'd like to extend a special welcome to the current ninth quarter class, as well as all of their family, their friends, and the faculty that are here. Due to the restrictions surrounding COVID, we've not been able to celebrate a pinning ceremony in person in quite some time, so this makes today extra special. Today marks the first in-person interim pinning ceremony that we've been able to have in over 1.5 years. I'd like to give special thanks to Monica O'Brien, Rashida Gilmore, the facilities and IT team, as well as your class rep Eve, for all of their hard work in making this possible. So today we will be officially recognizing our newest group of Palmer West chiropractic interns. This pinning ceremony marks the culmination of 2.5 years of hard work and is the beginning of the next phase of your chiropractic education, your clinical internship. On your journey thus far, you have been preparing for this day through countless classes, studying, exams, and hours upon hours of hands-on practice. Today, we will mark your transition from student to intern. We've watched all of you grow and mature through your time here. I remember when I had all of you way back in third quarter and how young you all seemed. And look at you now. You have undergone a tremendous amount of personal and professional growth, and I trust you will make us proud as you enter the outpatient clinic experience. I want to encourage all of you to be mindful that you represent Palmer as well as the chiropractic profession, and I have no doubt that you will all represent us well. As you begin seeing patients in the clinic, you will have times where you may feel overwhelmed, maybe even a little uncertain, more than a little uncertain at times. But I want to encourage you to take ownership of your experience in the clinic and make every effort to get the most out of it. Let me take a moment to remind all of you why you're here. You are here because you have chosen to take on the responsibility of being a physician. You have chosen a career where you will be responsible for guiding your patients to optimal health. And you have chosen Palmer to become, or for the place, to become the very best doctor of chiropractic that you can be. In the coming year, you will be building your very first chiropractic practice. Yes, you heard me right. Many of you are dreaming of your first practice after you graduate. But in reality, your very first practice begins right here in the Palmer Clinic. You will be responsible for the care of your patients. You will be promoting and growing your first practice. You'll be working with an exceptional staff that is here to support you. You will have colleagues, just look around, you will have colleagues to collaborate with and sometimes commiserate with. And you will be guided by your mentor clinicians. It will be up to you how much effort you put into this first practice of yours, and it will be up to you how much you get out of it. Your time here is so much more than just earning the minimum number of credits to graduate. It's about laying the foundation for the kind of doctor that you want to be. I still remember my pinning ceremony, and that was quite a while ago. I remember the patients I had when I was an intern. Many I remember by name, and I certainly remember by experience. I remember the lessons I learned from my mentor clinician, who was Dr. Milas, who most of you have this quarter. And trust me when I say, the next year of your career will be the most formative and memorable times of your life. And I consider it a great privilege that we get to be a part of your journey. I'm going to invite our Dean of Academic Affairs and Senior Campus Administrator, Dr. Snow, to the podium to say a few words.
Masks are bad, masks plus glasses are worse. I'm going to turn the mic on if it works. Kelly, are we mic?
Yes.
Check.
Check.
us in the last year a few times. Look at you guys. The pleasure of teaching these guys online how to adjust. A challenge for us all. And then I had the pleasure of having you guys in class a few times. It's so exciting to see you here now with your white coats on, and I'm proud of you and your accomplishments, as you should be as well, and as all your family should be. It's not an easy road getting here, but it's one that changes you and grows you along the way. And that coat not only symbolizes everything you've learned over the last couple of years, but it also symbolizes kind of a rise in stature for you, and one that you should all be cognizant of. If I think back to when I was a student long ago, probably before most of you were born, but as I went through Palmer West, and we were at a different campus, it was an old middle school, and we had a quad, and so our big pastime went in between our 10-minute breaks there, we'd walk outside and play hacky sack. Now, I'm not sure why we were so concerned with foot-eye coordination versus hand-eye coordination. It's what we did. And where our homeroom was on the opposite side of the campus from the clinic. And I remember as we would walk out and see the students in their white coats over in the clinic, how much I was like, I'm going to be one of them one day. That was my goal. But those people also represented the ideal of clinical care and advancement of the things that I was learning and the application of what I was learning. And understand now, please, that that's what you represent as well. And that's kind of a big step that you make from a career perspective. Of course, we all expect you to be professional as you go through our curriculum. But now that you are in the clinic, as you start being the face of Palmer, the face of the profession to the people that you encounter, it holds you to a higher level of expectation and behaviors. So just, again, keep that in mind. It's a responsibility that you take on as you become a healthcare practitioner, and one that you should all, I know you will represent yourself well, you will represent Palmer well, and you will represent the profession well, as those who've been here before you have done. But just an important growth point for you, and you will carry that into your practices, and I know you will be successful there. We probably could cut you loose now. It might be something we could do. You actually have all this training you need, by and large, to get people well out in practice. You're just a little green still, I would say. And probably it would be a little scary to you if we said, hey, congratulations, big news change, you're done. Go get them, champ. But it's the next year is, as Dr. Clark said, your opportunity to ripen on the vine somewhat. I got an email yesterday from one of our students who's in Chicago, and he was just talking about, he was at his preceptorship, and his preceptors had a lot of students from different chiropractic colleges and other Palmer campuses. And he said, my doctor was so impressed with me as a new, as a senior student. And he just wanted me to reach out back to you and say, thank you for all the work you did institutionally to get me to where I am. Now, that made me feel good, of course. But I think it also reflects on the effort that that student makes to make himself better and take full advantage of the opportunities ahead of you. And that's what I want to encourage you guys to do as well. I've been in a lot of roles at Palmer. Long ago, I was a clinician. Probably started again before some of you were born. But I was a full-time mental clinician in the clinic. And I always remember the story that I think for me was most profound in terms of intern engagement. And it's a kind of a cool story from the perspective of chiropractic and the profound impact that it can have on people, and have life-changing impact on the patients that you see. And so in brief, this story involves one of my students assigned to my group who went out one day with her family. And she had a lot of things stacked against her. She lived in Oakland, she was married, she had 3 kids. And so if you think it's challenging getting through this program as a single young adult, or single older adult for that matter, try doing it with family and kids, right? And maybe some of you are in that boat. It adds to your priority list and it makes the whole thing more challenging. And so she one day was out to brunch with her family, and sitting across the table from her was another family. And they had a child with them who was in a wheelchair and obviously severely disabled and who was emoting the whole time. And when she finished with her lunch, she got up, she walked over to that table, she took out her card, she gave it to the family, and she had a conversation with them in broken English. They were not primary English speakers. And she gave them the card and said, "Have you ever tried chiropractic for your daughter?" And some short time later, the family brought their 11-year-old daughter into the clinic who was suffering from severe cerebral palsy. So severe that she slept in a very rigid posture at night. She couldn't use her hands to hold a spoon or operate a remote or do anything else to really help care for herself. She had never spoken in her life. And she had a pretty poor quality of life, and her quality of life detracted from, or her needs detracted from her parents' quality of life. So she started undergoing care here, and after her second visit, she spoke for the first time in her life, saying "Mama" and "Tia." After that, she continued to get some improvements to the point where she slept in a very relaxed posture. She was able to sit up on her own. She was able to hold a fork and a spoon. She was able to operate a TV on a remote. She was still severely disabled. She remained severely disabled. But I have to imagine that those gains in her ability to do some things for herself had a tremendous impact on her feeling of self. Likewise, those gains had a strong impact probably on her parents and their interactions with her and their ability, or not having them have to do everything for her. And so that's kind of a cool chiropractic miracle story that happens once in a while, and it's unpredictable, and I'm not suggesting that chiropractic is a cure for cerebral palsy or anything. But for this one person, in that one circumstance, chiropractic care had a very profound effect. And I bring that up again because it's a nice story, it's interesting. But mostly I bring it up for you to realize that you all have the opportunity to reach out in that same way and impact people. That it requires you to get out of your comfort zone sometimes and come up to someone and say, "Have you tried chiropractic care?" And so what you put out there will come back to you in practice. And learning how to do that and do it well and get comfortable with it takes practice. That's why we call it that, right? And again, back to Dr. Clark's statement up front, this next year is your opportunity to do that and do it well. And you can sit at the clinic, we have a nice robust clinic system here, and let it all come to you, which is fine. Or you can look at what we have here as the gravy, and you guys go out and pull some people in and start developing yourself and your practice here under your mentor clinicians, and the ability to communicate and communicate effectively, and to understand how you can reach out and touch people and help people live higher quality of lives, which is what this is all about. So you're in a good spot. You're going to help develop those skills and get more comfortable with it over the next year. You should feel very good about what you've done thus far. It is not an easy road to get here. We know that. But we know it makes you better doctors and better chiropractors and better representatives of us out there in the field. So thank you for all your efforts there, and congratulations again on everything you've done to get here today. So, and good luck on your next year. So thank
you. All right. Next up, we are going to have Zach Scott, the ASG president, come to the podium and say a few words.
Hi guys. Time flies when you're having fun, huh? Jeez. Yikes. Just kidding. Sorry on that. So, good morning everybody, and thank you all for letting me be here and say some words at the ceremony. I may not have as much wisdom to share as Dr. Clark or Dr. Snow, but I'm happy to be here to be a part of your ceremony, and I'm happy that all your families and friends could make it as well. Since being paired with a ninth quarter student as a patient when you first got to Palmer, you've looked forward to arriving at this stage in your academic career. After 2 years of hard work, long nights of sitting at a desk, and rolling with the punches that life has been throwing at us all throughout the past 2 years, and there have been a lot of them for sure, it's finally time to apply that effort to helping another human live a better, pain-free life. And that's pretty exciting. I may not yet know a lot about real-world chiropractic, considering that I'm only in my 18th grade myself, but a chiropractor that I got the opportunity to work with the other day told me that authenticity is the best marketing tool. Being only a quarter below you all, I've been able to watch from your group throughout the past 2.5+ years in observation. And after that observation time of 2.5 years, I have no doubt in saying that this group is as authentic as it gets when it comes to caring for other people. Your desire to help others feel better is genuine, and your ability to build relationships with those around you is great. You all are going to be great at this job, and I can't wait to see the amazing things that you do in clinic and beyond. So I know this was short, but that being said, those white coats look really good on you all, and I'm looking forward to seeing what all is in store throughout the next year for you guys. Thank you for letting me be here today. I appreciate it. Welcome, Dr. Clark. If I can do this off my goal.
All right, if you guys can hear me okay, I'm going to try not to mess with that mic because it's going to get in the way in just a few minutes. And thank you, Zach, for those words on behalf of the ASG. And I want to thank Dr. Snow for his words as well. And interestingly, Dr. Snow was, I believe, a clinician when my husband graduated 6 months after I did. And we still have the picture, a picture that you will be getting soon, of his pinning ceremony. I have to say both my husband's and Dr. Snow's hair were a little darker back in those days, but that was about 25 years ago or so. And it was a memorable enough event that we still have that picture 25 years later. So today is a significant day for all of you, and you do look pretty awesome in your white coats, but it is a day of transition. So before we get to the official pinning part of this ceremony, I'd like to share some thoughts with all of you about the discoveries that you are likely to make as you continue on your path from intern to doctor. In the coming year, you will discover the importance of your words and the power of your touch. You will discover how important it is to understand that a patient is a human being, not just a diagnosis to be treated. You will discover that to understand pain means understanding the patient, their values, their worries, their hopes. You will discover that empathy and human connection is critical to healing. And mostly, you will discover that being a chiropractor is a calling, so much more than just a profession. It's a commitment that is made between you and your patients to oversee their care personally and with excellence. It means a lifetime of learning and wanting to learn. It means exposure to human emotions at their worst and at their best. And all the while, it's the humbling privilege and honor of caring for your patients. You too will have stories. Over the course of your career, one of the things you'll find when you talk to chiropractors in practice is they all have that story. The patients that make an impact on you as much as you have made an impact on them. And it is a humbling honor. And I'm proud to be able to have you join us as colleagues. With that said, it has come the time for the presentation of your pins. And these pins, along with your white coats right now, symbolize your transition from student to intern. Dr. Marcy Morton, the West Campus Director of Clinics, is going to read your names. And when your name is called, I'm going to have you come to the front and I will present you with your pin. Give us a second to rearrange these podiums a little bit and then we'll get started. Let's see. Walking a big dog.
Ready? All right. Joshua Anderson. Sarah Veste Simler.
That's okay. I'll take that.
Nav Farr. Zachariah Champa. Albert Chow. Stephanie Chung. Justin Danover. Daniel Desa. Eve Devato. Mel George. Tanner Hayslip. Sterling Hancock. Yen Sha Hung. Crystal Itlio. Sammy Pena. Larissa Smith. Matthew Tigan. Jeffrey Wu. And also being pinned today, but not able to join us, James Edward and Ashley Mitchell.
So I want to congratulate all of you. You should be very proud of yourselves, and you're going to go forward and make yourselves even more proud. So thank you all for attending today's ceremony, and please join me in giving a round of applause to the newest Palmer West chiropractic interns, and before we know it, the graduating class of summer 2022. Thank you all, and welcome interns.